Welcome back to the Sideline Chat podcast. This time we're off to the Super League, and straight away we have got there's no actually Super League matches this week, are all up into the Challenge Cup semi-finals, and the first match for that is the Wigan Warriors up against the St Helens. Now, as we go for the so-called home side first, we'll reflect back onto Wigan's match against the Warrington Wolves, where Wigan won 40 points to 22. Wigan were just in complete, utter control yet again. Warrington, they did put up a fight to be fairly steady and trying to play with Wigan, but at the end of the match, Wigan were just way too good yet again. Stand out for Connor, he yet again is not with me today, it's just myself. So his standout was Bevan French with one try assist, 128 run meters, 4 tackle breaks, and 1 line break. He says, Wigan's second half performance illustrates Warrington's ongoing defensive woes. The avalanche of tries scored here turned the game into the Warriors' favour, with Bevan French and Harry Smith running the mock. Both centres for Warrington had a rough night as they bit on both French and Field. If Bevan French should have a massive night, I think it was his second game back this season. And Jai Field surprisingly had a bit of a quiet night. Yes, he didn't score a try, which is, believe it or not, hard to believe. But he didn't have a quietish night, but was still involved in a fair bit of the play. So I think it's more Bevan French that took control did a fair bit. And the stats don't lie with that there. Although Field did set up Bevan French's try through an offload. So he did have some involvement, and he did break through the field in the lead up to that. Other try scorers was Thornley, who got 2 tries. There was some poor defensive tries there from Warrington, and there was overlaps and all the likes. Marshall got one with a French grubber kick, and he went again in the corner. Walker does a show and go. Taufia from an offload. Barrel's try, I have to say, was outstanding. Like offload from Patrick Mago sent him over, and it was a very good offload. Liam Farrell been right place, right time. He knows what he's doing. He's been around the game long enough to know where he needs to be at the right point, and he showed yet again that he is a very experienced player. So Darryl Powell in the Warrington side, they were pretty good in the first half. It's just like what kind of mentioned, the second half is just where they seem to slide away. So kind of a bit like the Canberra Raiders here in the NRL. But I wouldn't say a bit better, I wouldn't say worse either. So they're kind of maybe on, although Warrington would be a bit better than what Canberra have been with their performances. At least they can still score tries in the second half, unlike Canberra. But Wigan and Matt Pete's side, he will be very happy with that indeed. And they're pretty much on target to stay in top 4. Now, for the St Helens side, they won narrowly over Salford Red Devils, 14 points to 10. Now, Salford did put up a really good performance here against the 3-time reigning premiers or champions. But they just narrowly went down. What cost Salford was a few penalty goals, right? 2 penalty goals during the last 15 minutes, I think. Which there could have been another upset on the cards there. But ultimately, St Helens just came through with the win there. There was a few sin bins in this match. Most notably, Jack Wellesby. He ended up getting sin bin in the last minute or 2 of the match, and there's been a few other ones as well. So Connor goes with this St Helens Salford match. He says Morgan Knowles. That's why Saints are 8-2 at the peak of the Super League season so far. The effort to save a long range with Walmsley in the frame once again highlights the professionalism that typifies St Helens. And he was surprised not to see Salford beat Bryant Park in this fixture. Nevertheless, their discipline ended up being the difference. So Tommy Makerson's penalty goals, the clear difference between the two sides, which is pretty much what I just touched on there. So we both think of similar things. I'm going to say great minds think alike. So I agree. I thought coming in this match, Salford was going to absolutely lose this one by a heap of points. But St Helens, I don't know, they strategically didn't put in the. I mean, it's still a good performance one, but they've done better. But Salford just had a really good game, one of the two. Also for the standout was Jack Wellesby with one try assist, 81 run meters, and 3 offloads. Yet again, Wellesby, he knows where to be at the right place, right time, like Walmsley and Marshall and Farrell. So, ignore Marshall and Farrell there. It's just Walmsley and Wellesby that knows how to be in the right place at the right time for these two sides here. For the try scorers, they got Morgan Escaray for Salford to opening the scoring. He just went into a decent sized gap there, so don't know what happened with St Helens' defensive line there. Davies got the ball down, I think, in the corner. A grubber kick from St Helens. It come off a Salford player called Jack Wellesby's try, so it was a bit of a scrap. Not the best defensive part for Salford. They couldn't clean up the grubber kick, but I mean, everyone's not perfect. Everyone has their moments, and everyone has not so good moments. So go off that, and an offload to Matty Costello to go over in the corner. Were the only 4 tries scored in this match. Now heading back into this semi-final in the Challenge Cup between the Wigan Warriors and St Helens, this is going to be absolutely a blockbuster Challenge Cup match. Whoever wins this one will go through to the final in 2 weeks' time, I believe. This one is going to be brilliant. I mean, both teams are on brilliant form in the regular season of the Super League. It's a flip of a coin, really, this one. Connor says St Helens to win this one 7-12. I'm actually going to say a Wigan Warriors going to win this one in the 1-6 margin. It's seriously a tight match and a mouth-watering match. I do believe this one could go into extra time, but I'm not going to call it into extra time. I'd say Wigan are going to win it within the last 2 minutes of this match. Yeah, so for me, Wigan 1-6, Connor, St Helens 7-12. Now, in the second and final semi-final cup tie is between the Huddersfield Giants and the Hull Kingston Rovers. Huddersfield Giants come off a narrow victory over Wakefield Trinity, down in Wakefield 14 points to 12. Wakefield did put up a reasonable performance, and they could have been in there for the W. Huddersfield just ultimately the better side just for this match. Connor says that the standout for Huddersfield and for this match was Theo Farge with 98 run meters, 3 tries and 1 tackle break. Wakefield's middle defence let them down after a good start against the Giants. The fact that they couldn't score any second half points would cause concern for Willie poaching inside. So Wakefield got all their points in the first half. So, I mean, to be scoreless in the second half is not good. So, something needs to happen fast there. And we know what Wakefield have been capable of. They have upset Warrington twice, one in the cup tie and one in the regular season and back-to-back weeks. So they are capable of scoring and winning matches. But, I mean, this match, it was just something didn't quite go right there for Wakefield. Also, Connor goes on to say for Huddersfield, Theo Farsh's influence in this match went a long way to keep Huddersfield in touch with the top six. A gritty win like this also places them in good stead for their cup tie against Hull KR. It was a gritty win. They did have to come from behind to win this match. McQueen did power over in the first half, so that was the only try in the first half from Huddersfield, but yet they scored in the second half twice for Luke Yates and Ricky Lutelli. With Lutelli's try coming from my brother, and a short ball from Theo Farge to send Luke Yates over. As for Wakefield, Mason Leonard scored second try this season, which is a bit disappointing to see. He's got that potential there. He just needs to have the side around him, which when he's on and the team's on good form, they can produce really good footy. So he did a show and go, and that got him over the line with Lewis Murphy yet again scoring. He came back in field from a kick and had a beautiful bounce with it too. He set up the try. With the bounce for Jai Whitbread. So very good performance there from those Lewis Murphy yet again. He's got a big future ahead of him. He just needs to play consistent footy and hopefully maybe get into a better side than what Wakefield are. Wakefield are not the best of sides, but are not bad. So other than that, watch him grow. He could be a star future player for Wakefield. Just don't know what's going to happen there. Hull KR, on the other hand, they lost to the Leeds Rhinos 12 points to nil. Now, you don't hear Hull KR getting held scoreless very often at all. So, I don't know what happened with this match here. It's losing Lachlan Coote to concussion hurt the Hull KR side in this instance. So that is obviously not a good sign with Lachlan Coote out with a HIA, or concussion, I should say. Considering the fact they were held scoreless against the Rhinos, this is not the performance Tony Smith was wanting for before a cup semi-final. It's not a good performance that you want heading into a big match like this. It's a do-or-die competition in Challenge Cup. If you win, you're through to the final and either playing Wigan or Saints, or if you lose, you're back out and you just have to focus on for the Super League and try and make the top 6 playoffs for the remainder of the season. Confidence booster for Ryan Smith, something for the Leeds fans to be optimistic about heading into the campaign's middle phase. Yes, Ryan Smith finally took over as the Leeds Rhinos coach after JBB was the week prior. And a win straight out the blocks for Rowan Smith. So that's a very good start there. Maybe that is a turning point for their season. I just don't know. It's only his first game in charge, first or second game in charge. So it's hard to get a read on. But over the next few weeks, we have to see what goes on, really, and see if he can improve at all and make the side a lot better than what they have been, because they have been going really bad form slump at the moment. They did get a narrow victory the other week. I can't remember who it was against. But in this match, they only got the 2 tries, and that was it for the whole match. Cover kicks that couldn't be taken from Hull KR, which allowed Matt Pryor to score yet another try in his Super League career. Even though he's heading towards his twilight end of his career, he is going very well still. So maybe get another 2, maybe 3 years out of him if he decides to. It's purely up to him. And another kick for Gannon, who scores. So 2 double kicks for Leeds Rhinos to score the match tries. Hull KR tried their best to keep them out, but they just weren't in their attack. Losing Lachlan Coote does not help at all. He is a key player for the Robins, but he just couldn't go through with it all at the end of the match. But concussion is, depending on how bad his concussion is, he could be out for this cup tie match. I hope he isn't, but we have to wait and see when we get the team sheets for the semi-final cup tie. Now back to this Huddersfield Hull KR match. Both, as I just said, one come off a narrow victory, one come off of a loss. So but overall, Hull KR have been playing good footy, barring against Leeds. So they could be in with a shout for this match against Huddersfield Giants. Although with the rate that Theo Farge has come back in and helped Huddersfield climb back up to the ladder ever so slightly, it's another tight match, and we don't know who's going to win this one. Connor says Huddersfield 1-6. I'm actually going to say Hull KR 1-6. I mean, they did have a poor game against Leeds, but they'll bounce back for it. So I'm predicting a Wigan Robins final for the Challenge Cup, while Connor is predicting a St Helens Huddersfield final for the Challenge Cup. Make that as you will. Now for the other matches that we haven't touched on, because we're only got the Challenge Cup semi-final this week, so there's no more regular fixtures for this week. So we're going through Wakefield Reading losing to Huddersfield 14 points to 12. We've gone through Warrington losing to Wigan 40 points to 22. St Helens beating Salford 14 points to 10. I've already mentioned those ones. And then one I haven't mentioned, well, Leeds Hull KR I've also mentioned, so another one there. Two games I haven't covered. It's the Catland Dragons down in the Castleford Tigers 44 points to 12 in Threads. So Catalans were just in control yet again, which was kind of expected, even though they didn't have drink water. So that's a key player missing there, but they still went on and did a magnificent performance against Castleford, who are the weaker side against these two. Like out of these two clubs, they are the weaker side. The standout performance for Connor was Matthew Laguerre, who got 3 tries, 117 1 meters, and 2 tackle breaks. And his notes for this match says no drink water, no worries. Catlan's overwhelming in attack. Once Castleford opened up around the middle, trouble was coming. The Tigers' goal on defence and initial contact was substandard, from allowing Julian Busquet to crash over for the first try, then peppered down the right defence edge with Matthew Laguerre out muscling Jake Mamo. Matthew Laguerre did have a brilliant game, hence why he was kind of standout performer. Tyrone May and Mitchell Pearce clicked well in this environment, with May having his on 4 tries and a further one he scored as well. So adding to his 4 tries, I don't know what he means by that, but yes, Tyrone May did have a match good performance. He and Mitchell Pearce did click well. Tyrone May did score that match. Kind of going backwards, and he twisted himself over to score. So better work to do there, but he managed to get over there. Back to what Connor said about Julian Busquet crashing over for the first try. Yeah, that was just it was hard to stop Busquet from close range. I mean, a big guy like him, it was always going to be hard. Mitchell Pearce steams onto a ball that was passed by, I don't know who, but he just ran onto that ball and went easily over the try line to score. So another try there for Mitchell Pearce. He's adding to his try scoring tally already, as I mentioned about Tyrone May. One of the tries for Castleford was from Gareth O'Brien, who just went straight through the defensive line. Now, see, that was poor defense by Catalans to put 3 tries on to nil early on to open up their match scoring tries. That was a bit of a soft try there from Catalans, but it didn't bother them as they put on the next next 4 tries. So through Matthew Laguerre with a double before getting the last try of the match. He ended up turning over from, I think he ended up going from his back to his front, the scoring. Archie Morg, he carried momentum to cross the line. He was involved in a fair bit, but he has played better matches. But I mean, when a team performs so well, you try and get involved as much as possible. But if they're performing well, you might not be needed as much. Matt Whitley went through a weak patch of defence for Castleford. That was the story of the not for Castleford. The defence through the middle was not very good at all. Matthew Laguerre yet again got a beautiful bounce from a kick. The bounce could have not gone any better for him. He was coming downfield, chasing the kick. It bounced and straight into his arm. So beautifully timed there. Guer went in untouched for Castleford. I do apologise for the pronunciation if I have got it wrong. And a perfectly weighted kick there to Matthew Laguerre. Weighted grubber kick, I should add. It was straight into the grubber. Beautiful, no pressure whatsoever for Matthew Laguerre to put that ball down in the zone area, try zone area, you could say. And for the final match was the other French side away to Hull FC, who went down. Sorry, I shouldn't say Hull FC went down. Hull FC won 48 points to 12 over Toulouse Olympique. This was kind of expected to be happening, to be quite honest. Toulouse is still finding defeat. Hull FC have been in okay form as of late. They haven't like other teams in and around the 6. They are trying to hang on to that or try and hover around that top 6 bracket to try and play the playoffs, because it could come crucial at the end of the match. I mean, Hull FC are 4th overall on the ladder, so but they have got their counterparts, Hull KR and Huddersfield, right behind them there. For the standout for Hull FC was Carlos Tuamavave, 128 run meters, 3 try assists, 6 tackle breaks, and 3 offloads there. It's kind of kept it short, sharp, and simple for this match. This was to be expected for Toulouse, and their influence of Jake Connor and Carlos Tuamavave carried out black and whites very well with defence remaining largely solid. They did have when they did let Catlin scoring for Vave and not Tuamavave, just Vave, and I believe it was Marion. The two try scorers there for Toulouse. It was a bit of a weakness patch there, but other than that, it was a flawless defensive effort there from Hull FC, and also the attacking with McIntosh getting 3 tries. Yes, 3 tries for McIntosh, 3 tries also for Connor Wynn, who also had a brilliant game as well. Lovadua got 2 tries as well. Barforth got a try there for the home side. So all in all, an overall good performance there for Hull FC. Brett Hodgson will be very happy about that. He can focus with the week off from playing any matches. They should be well rested alongside every other club that I haven't mentioned for the cup side. So every club barring Wigan, St Helens, Huddersfield, and Hull KR will get the extra week off, with round number 12 to be starting on Thursday, the 12th of May over in England, whilst over here in Australia it would be Friday the 13th. We're going to touch more on it next week, Connor, and Connor will be back next week. Just quickly run through around 12 fixtures to start next week. You got Huddersfield versus Wigan, so one of them will be coming off a victory. Both of them could be coming off a victory in a Challenge Cup, so that'll be a very spicy match indeed there, depending on the performance of both sides in the cup ties. St Helens Hull FC, that depending on how St Helens go, having playing an extra week than what Hull FC will have to do. See how that one goes there. Catlands Warrington on the Saturday. Salford Leeds on the Sunday, as well as Huddersfield and Hull KR, Toulouse and Wakefield there. Just quickly, I think Toulouse Wakefield could be an interesting match. This could be another opportunity for Toulouse to win. As I mentioned, we'll be talking more in depth with Connor next week about those matches. But they're the upcoming matches for round number 12 of the Betfred Super League. And the championship spotlight is back this week. This time, we are focusing on the London Broncos up against the Dewsbury Rams. Now, London Broncos have finally got the first victory of the season, down in Dewsbury Rams 36 points to 12. London shot out the blocks. They scored 4 unanswered tries. It seemed like close together, but it was in the first 20 minutes, I believe. But before Dewsbury came back with 3 tries in a row, missing all 3 of the conversions. And to finish it off, London Broncos scored their final 2 tries to have the first victory. The Broncos, I don't know that, correct me. Brad Foster there for the London Broncos was the very first try. He just went straight into a cat there. So very poor defense by the Rams. That try was followed by Dane Chisholm, who went for a chip kick himself and managed to score. So you don't see a chip kick for yourself often. You usually see it for other players, but not for yourself. So that's very good heads up play there from Dane Chisholm. Garn, correct me if I'm wrong with that. Garn scored the try from dummy half, with Mokarek Deki scoring again for the home side, and also by Nick scoring 2 tries to finish off a 1 point there from the London Broncos, with Chisholm kicking 6 from 7 goals. There was a sin bin from the home side with Albert going off in the 45th minute due to a high tackle. And as for the away side, Dewsbury, they scored a try from Greensmith in the 46th minute. That was due through I think it was Greensmith who scored that first try. He scored 2 tries. No, 1 try for Greensmith. It was just the pass that went from Paul Skies that went from across field and then kind of back in, and Greensmith was sitting there, well, not sitting there, was there waiting and ready to play very well and managed to get through the score. Then Greensmith set up a try for Tongagahi. Correct me with the pronunciations and apologies for that. That was a fairly straightforward try as well. It's just a beautiful setup work from Greensmith to Tongagahi, so that was good there. And to cap it all off, a try to Harry Kidd. No, sorry. Gabriel. Defense. I closed out the scoring for. No, what am I talking about? Sorry. Greensmith, Tongagahi, and Gabriel were the 3 try scorers for the Dewsbury Rams there. The Skies going 0 from 3 conversions. Graham got put in the sin bin on the 72nd minutes for a high tackle there. The referee was Jack Smith, and the penalties was 4-3 in favour of the home side. So the London Broncos coach Jermaine Coleman would be very happy with to get that first W in the championship this season. And let's hope that progresses through to more throughout the season. And that's all the Super League action wrapped up / Challenge Cup action previewed for part number 2 of episode number 59 of the Sideline Chat podcast. Enjoy the Challenge Cup tie matches. They are going to be absolute blockbusters and mouth-watering. I'll be very keen to see who makes it through to the cup final. Good on London Broncos to get their win, and all the other players that get a week off, enjoy the week off. And if you like what you hear, subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring the bell to get alerted when this episode and other future episodes will get put up onto our channel. Follow our socials on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Sideline Chat, with Twitter at Sideline Chat RL. Connor will be back next week. He has thankfully given me his notes, so hope you enjoy his thoughts, and he'll be back next week. On behalf of myself and Connor Marcellus, enjoy this weekend's footy, whether it's in England, Australia, and we'll catch you all next week.